In this episode, we're going to talk about some forgotten toys from a category that haven't really covered before. And that category is movies. So, stick around for a look at some forgotten 80s movie toys. Hello, fellow dorks and dorkettes, and welcome to Nostalgia Syndrome. My name is Rob, and like I said, this episode we will be talking about a category that I have not talked about before when it comes to forgotten toys, and that is movie toys. I think one of the things that always stops me from talking about movies on this channel is the fact that love for movies is pretty deep, and a lot of people have different opinions, which is awesome. They should, but it kind of gets overwhelming and you kind of get lost in the minutia of everything that is involved in a movie. And to be honest, I am a horrible critic, because if I was entertained, I'll love that movie. As simple as that. In this day and age, I'm just looking for escapism, and if a movie can deliver that to me, I love it. So, like I said, I'm a horrible critic. I can't get into actors, actresses, producers, directors, all that stuff. I just like to be entertained. Back in the day, yeah, I was a contender. But nowadays, I'm just looking for that quick escape. So, this being the first movie category... So, this being the first Forgotten 80s Movie Toys episode is my excuse for trying something new. So hopefully it goes off without a hitch and I don't get lost in the sauce talking about the movies. Because we're here to talk about the toys. So, without further ado, let's get to number one. Our first forgotten 80s movie toy comes from a movie that was released in 1984, and it is definitely a love it or hate it affair. The movie is Dune, and the toy line was released by LJN also in 1984. There were 6 figures produced, a sandworm, and 1 vehicle. Now the vehicle we talked about before in a Rad Rides episode, so we're going to skip over that and talk about the figures. Like I said, there were only 6 produced, and because it was such a love it or hate it movie at the time of its release, which I fell into the love it category, the toy line fizzled. It didn't go anywhere. So these initial figures were all that were released, and there were some in pre-production that never made it to the shelf. Now, I have to say, LJN did a pretty good job when capturing the likenesses of the actors. I mean, for the most part, you know who they are. I mean, they could have done a better job, all in all, but for the time period and for LJN, they did a fantastic job. Now, I remember as a kid seeing these on the shelves at the local Montgomery Ward, and I was super confused because here's an action figure of the musician Sting that comes with some weird cracked out ferret in a cage. I was very confused. But I soon saw the movie and I was still confused but entertained. Now, for anyone that is curious about collecting this toy line because of just how well the newer versions are doing, are going to be surprised at the large berth of prices, because it goes pretty low and it goes definitely pretty high. So that I also find confusing. Our next movie toy line comes from the year 1983, and it is a very well-respected movie from a very well-respected franchise. The movie was Rocky III, and these are the toys that were released by Phoenix Toys, also in 1983. Now, there were a lot of different Rocky toy lines and paraphernalia released during this time period, but we are taking a look just at the Phoenix Toys, which they released for action figures. Now, the action figures are very much akin to the Masters of the Universe action figures, as in their body styling and posability. Now, the characters were Rocky, but of course, Apollo Creed, Clubber Lang, and Thunderlips. Now, the thing I find really neat about the packaging is they say the actor that portrayed these characters. So, right there, Sylvester Stallone as Rocky, Carl Weathers as Apollo Creed, Mr. T as Clubber Lang, and Hulk Hogan as Thunderlips. So that's something that you don't really see a lot in movie toy packaging, is them making reference to the actual actors that portrayed the characters. So I find that refreshing and kind of neat. Now, all of them except Thunderlips came with removable boxing gloves, and all of them had cloth good shorts. Some of them also came with belts and bric-a-brac like that. So I think they're pretty cool. I mean, a lot of the toys really nailed the likeness of the actors. Of course, the Sylvester Stallone Rocky, not so much. I don't think this fell into the whole rights issue thing with Coleco, because that came a little bit later. So I think it was just a poor model. Anyway, I would have loved to have these as a kid, but I never saw them on the shelf. I definitely would have loved the Mr. T. I mean, with it being Masters of the Universe styling, adding him to my Masters of the Universe Playtime universe would have been mind-blowing at the time. I mean, you imagine Mr. T teaming up with He-Man and saving Eternia? I mean, that would have been so awesome. Now, these figures, again, it's pretty much a large berth between the lowest and the highest of prices. But I think this could definitely be a toy line where you could luck out and find one at a flea market or somewhere like that, because, I mean, they're just that generic body styling that a lot of knockoff toys fall into. So I could see them being tossed into a box of those and people not knowing what they have. So if this is something you want to hunt for like I do, good luck to you. Our third forgotten toy, based on a movie, is from a 1980s cult classic. This is from the movie Blues Brothers, and these were released by Ertl in 1980. Ertl released the Bluesmobile in two different sizes, one being your standard Matchbox size vehicle, the other being a 1/18th scale bigger vehicle. Now, the smaller Matchbox one, I mean, this is great packaging. I mean, you have the actors right there, you have what it is boldly in print right there with the little vehicle, and it's great. But they really went a step above and beyond with the 1/18th scale, because it comes with the large megaphone that attaches to the top of the vehicle, and it even has ropes and various details going into it. So I find that absolutely amazing, especially in the year 1980. Another thing that I find extremely interesting is there was an actual chase variant of a chrome version of the Bluesmobile. I didn't think chase or variants were a thing in 1980, so I learned something new today. Yeah, I think that's very fascinating. Now, the prices that I'm going to put up on the screen, of course, are for both different versions, or three different versions. So, of course, the lower price is the smaller scale, and the higher price definitely is the larger scale vehicle. Now, one thing I'd like to add about Ertl at this time period was if a movie had a vehicle in it that did some awesome stuff, they were going to get the rights to it. Some of those movies are quite questionable, but they had vehicles, so they went with it. So in the future, we'll cover some of those Ertl releases and their movies that they tied into. Now, this definitely wouldn't be a Forgotten Toys episode without your random inspired toy, or knockoff as a lot of people call them. Now, this is definitely a knockoff in the truest of definitions, but this toy comes from a 1983 80s classic, one that people still herald today as a great movie, and we all grew up with it. The movie was E.T., the questionable toy visitor from another world. This was released by J.A.R. Sales in 1982, and as you can see, it's a pitch-perfect rendition of our little friend E.T. Now, I think this is a knockoff toy that probably a lot of us had. I remember seeing these in, vending machines, at every local mom and pop store, every major store. I mean, this knockoff was everywhere because E.T. was everywhere. Now, I find it so heartwarming that this thing goes for a song and a dance nowadays. And I would love to get this dude in my collection just because I remember having it when I was a kid. Like I said, this was a knockoff that I think most of us had growing up. And even if you didn't know it was a knockoff, I mean, it's E.T. No qualms about it. They went whole hog on making a perfect rendition of the character, and yeah, they didn't care at all. Yeah, like I said, I think all of us had this as a kid, and for how cheap it goes for, I'd love to get it in my collection now. Now, our fifth and final Forgotten 80s movie toy comes from a movie that, quite frankly, shocked me that it got a toy line. I mean, the movie's awesome. It was one that we probably all grew up watching and looking up to. And yeah, ninjas were awesome, ninjas will always be awesome, and ninjas were a profession that we wanted to be when we were kids. The movie, American Ninja. The toy line, released by Fleetwood in 1985. Now, there's only one figure released, and cloth good ninja outfit, bonus. Sword, nunchucks, also a bonus. But they also released some role-playing toys and an awesome stamp set. Look at the art on the stamp pads themselves. I mean, this is awesome art, and not something that you would expect from like a small toy company like Fleetwood. You would think just something sketchy and out the door to make a buck. But someone went through a lot of effort to do this. Now, they also had a knife and suction cupped throwing star set, a throwing star target set, suction cups as well, and this nunchuck set. All pretty awesome, and all would have been super appreciative to have when we were kids. Like I said, ninjas were the rage, and I wanted to be a ninja. I flocked to anything ninja related. I mean, if there was a movie at the video store with a ninja on it, boom, I got it. If a magazine had a ninja on it, boom, I got it. Books, I mean, I remember picking up a Mac Bolan book because I had a ninja on the cover, and I don't think I ever read it. I didn't, but I still held that book so tightly because there's a ninja right there. So ninjas were everywhere, ninjas were cool, and American Ninja, that was an awesome movie. I mean, I have not seen it in decades, but going by me back then, I enjoyed every minute of it. So, unfortunately, I could not find any of these toys on the secondary market. I mean, it would be pretty awesome to snag one of the action figures of the ninja in question. I assume it's the American Ninja, or just a generic ninja in general, but yeah, it would have been cool to add this to the collection. But, like I said, I have not found any. So, yeah, I guess that's truly forgotten. Okay, folks, that was a look at 5 forgotten 80s movie toys. And some of them really surprised me, like the Blues Brothers. Who would have known that had a toy line? Or American Ninja. As awesome as the movie was, it's still quite shocking that it got a full release toy line. Granted, I never saw them, but they could have been in your local Woolworth or mom and pop shop because they kind of are akin to that. But anyway, I hope I did a good job talking about the movie. So like I said, I didn't want to get lost in the minutia of talking about the movies themselves. I only wanted to talk about the toys. So I think I succeeded with that. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them, and I love getting back to everyone. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this or any of the episodes that YouTube is recommending down here, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you'll be notified whenever there's a new episode. So anyway, until next time, thanks for watching. Keep being rad and stay dorky.